Good morning, everyone. Let me turn my music off. I'm jamming over here. Turn your head. All right. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live coffee chat. Thank you so much for coming in. And again, the first, very most important question of the morning or day is what's in your mug? So, what are you drinking? What is your preferred drink today, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you live at? I'm going to go ahead and shout out to people who's been here in the chat. And I just wanted to share this funny meme here. And it is so true to the fact that the lore now is basically the beautiful part of Star Wars is in the original EU, our legends. And this kind of explains a little bit of what's going on or how the mouse does not honor it. All right, so let's see who we have in the chat. I know we had Matt G, we had Stieg, David, Chilson. I hope I said that right. Matt G, of course, I said that already. Lorena, Creole sister, I love that woman. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is, it shifted. I'll get to that one. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Grabbing my lunch, so I'll be back in a bit. All right, come back and join us if you can. All right, Christopher Barker. OG, another shared universe not making any sense, much like Disney Wars, is the Arrowverse on the CW post-crisis crossover. I'll be ranting about it with a friend of mine. Okay, yeah, I know. And we're seeing a lot. Star Wars is not the only franchise that's getting screwed over with this new modern wokeness. You would think that woke would be people will be aware and honor and cherish what's come before, but woke is now a whole different meaning as well. And yeah, so we're seeing a lot of IPs being destroyed, beloved pop culture being destroyed to fit a narrative that is very inclusive, are basically narrowed down to a certain point of view of people who want to virtue signal for another group of people, but then won't allow them to speak their minds. All right, so Leia Organa and Luke Skywalker, hello. I was listening to Collective Soul, and I love the song December from them, and I'd never had it on my phone, and so I put it on my phone, and I've been just blasting it lately. It's just one of those songs where you keep on playing for a little while. Yeah. Hello. I am having tea in my favorite Star Wars mug. Awesome. The real Cyber Elf. Hello. Thank you for coming in. Hey, Becky, how are you doing? Thank you. So again, the most important thing is what is in your mug today, or what are you drinking? And, or like if you're eating, having lunch or whatever, I hope you're enjoying your day. If you're in the afternoon already, I'm on the not East Coast. Geez, I'm so used to saying East Coast because I talk with a lot of people on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast, so I am still morning. It is 9:03 here. Grandmaster. Humble now. No. Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. Yes. All right, Stieg. They have screwed up the Wheel of Time 2 TV shows being made based on the book series, which is amazing. And they have already race swapped 70% of the main characters dead before release. And I've been talking to Stieg about different, other books, other novels, and other, I guess you could say franchises and stuff that is fantasy and all that. And he reads a lot. He not only Star Wars, which is one of his loves, but he reads a lot. Look at that eye roll. All right, Jedi Bunny. Hi, honey. How are you doing? Good morning. Yay, I finally caught you live. You have such a calming energy and voice. Also, you're so well versed and informed of the topics. Thank you so much. I try my best, and it's always a learning experience. I'm always learning something or seeing a different point of view by other people as well. And I'm like, it gives me another way of thinking about the lore as well. All right. I have water and good, and I always stress, I love coffee. We should have coffee, blah, blah, blah. But as a yoga and fitness person, because I teach yoga as well, and I also teach dance, is that the first thing you want to start with and end with in your day is a cup of water. You want to wake up your body with water, and you want to go ahead and have your body calm down and relax with some water in your system. And then, of course, drinking water throughout the day on top of whatever else you like. Christopher Barker, I was listening to some Demons and Wizards band. Oh, nice. And your last name, guess what? Okay, so you guys probably won't believe me, but it is friggin' true. My grandma's cousin is Bob Barker. And if you look at his history, he grew up on the Rosebud Sioux tribe, and his mom is from there or something like that. Anyways, so they are family, they are cousins. And so I am related to Bob Barker through my grandmother. So when I see Barker, I think of Bob when I see that. Got my hot chocolate with me. Awesome. Alora does really, really well with the EU here. Clever lady. Gonna make an EU quiz for her one of these days. Okay. I'm down for it, and we could do it here live on chat as well. That would be fun. All right, so I'm not going to waste any time because I do need to make this short and sweet today, intimate today. So grab your coffee. We are going to discuss this Luke lightsaber debacle that's come out with Disney Lucasfilm, and how I feel that it's ruins his hero's journey arc. And that's why I did not put that in my video, because I just wanted to point out with the lore with the yellow lightsabers on who carries them. So I did a video about it, and it's the Sentinels, basically the temple guards, hacker, the splicers, everybody that's within the Sentinel portion of the Jedi faction. And also to who carried him before, that's including Rey Palpatine, and how they gave her a yellow lightsaber. And Marvel Comics is saying we'd never seen before yellow lightsaber. And I'm like, source material, your own, you did it yourself in the movies. So we are going to discuss this, and let's see who's coming in. Thank you, Jedi Bunny. Christopher Baker, race swapping. Yeah. Back. Thanks for joining us, folks. Yes, thank you. Keck, hello. The Phantom Menace, hello. Spartan Flash Sentry, hello. All right, so I have this book here, and I'm going to go ahead and put this Luke Skywalker yellow saber from Marvel on the screen here. So I'm going to switch screens, or switch. Let's see here. Whoops, wrong button. All right. It's a Chrome tab. Okay. Still getting used to this crap. Don't think I ever will. So just have patience with me. So here it is. Let me scroll down and show. And it's in the Luke Skywalker wields a new lightsaber in Star Wars #6. It's the comic book. And these comic books here have been I wouldn't say have been destroying a lot of the character arcs within the movie. The legends are the main characters. So here it is. Here's the lightsaber. Let me get rid of this one here. So here's the lightsaber here, and this happens between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So when you look at the original lore, you know that especially Shadows of the Empire is one of the main books that highlights the 3 or 4. So highlights Luke's, Leia's, Lando, and even Chewie, because Chewie's there helping too as well, because he's that, Han's his best friend. And he's also sticking by Leia's side because Han asked her to in Empire Strikes Back. So he is like stuck and glued on Leia's side now because he's protecting her and staying by her side because of the life debt that he has with Han, and Han asked that of him. And so we have Shadows of the Empire, and in that we know that Luke is on Tatooine still training. He has a journal from Obi-Wan that he have found that he was like, oh, Obi-Wan must have meant for me to find this. And within that book, he has instructions on how to construct his only lightsaber. And so he's making his crystal because there's no way to find any crystals or jewels on Tatooine. And at the time, the Empire has hidden or destroyed a lot of places that has crystals for sabers and stuff. And that's a whole different story. But anyways, so he's making his own focusing crystal jewel. He has the parts, he gathered all the parts he needs. And so he's training, putting together his lightsaber, finding ways to, and also planning and helping to find Han as well. So, so what I'm getting at is that, you know, this is a book, I put it in the chat earlier. This is a book to invest in, especially the hero's journey for the 3 main characters. And I just lost my page, damn it. And oh, I got it right here. And it you know, it focuses on the hero's journey, not only for Luke, but also Leia and also Han. And so what I'm getting with this is that Luke's journey begins when he gets the Talus, when he gets his father's lightsaber. That begins his journey. And that's in the hero's journey. And then through the hero's journey, he you know, he you know, has his trials and tribulations. He also atones with his father. But a part of that hero's journey is his transformation. And part of that transformation is building that new lightsaber. So we only have 2 because of the hero's journey. And that's what makes it significant, is that he gets the first saber that is a heir, basically his father's, that helps him set on his journey. He wants to become a Jedi like his father before him. And then as he goes through his transformation, that other lightsaber, the green lightsaber, basically is his transformation as well. It's part of his transformation. It shows that he has transformed into a Jedi. And so having this yellow lightsaber in between those 2 lightsabers does not make sense per the hero's journey. In the original lore, between those 2 movies, between those 2 events, he only carries his blaster, and he takes time to go, and not into exile, but to go and heal when he gets his synthetic hand. So he allows his hand to bond to his arm, to his wrist. And in that time, he's training. So he goes and heals, and he focuses on himself and stuff while they figure out how to rescue Han. And then from there, he builds his saber, and then we see his transformation in Return of the Jedi. All right, I'm going to look at the comments here. You guys are just off the hook here. Yes, thank you, fandom. All right. Laura, hi. Hello, Hia. You know what, Hia or Hia, that means no in my language. So it's called Hia, but that's how we would spell it in the English vocabulary. Hia, hello. Or not hello, but no. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, but that's what comes to my mind when I read that. Okay. Yeah, Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. I don't remember having a yellow lightsaber. Correct. I don't like the color yellow. And that's a very, for a lightsaber, I don't know. I never cared for the yellow lightsaber, but I understood that a faction of the Jedis carried it. And that was the Sentinels and basically the guards, and all that. And the temple guards and all that. So I understand, we have the Guardians who carried blue, and then we have the Consulars who carried green. So, and then we have the Sentinels who carried yellow, and then purple came in the PT, and it's not really a faction color, I guess you could say, and I haven't really explored the reasons for that other than that it was a cool color that for Mace Windu. So, all right, Luke Skywalker or Christopher Barker, Luke having a yellow saber is yet another plot hole of billion of plot holes in Disney explained universe. I agree. All right. All right. Shadows of the Empire is one of my favorite books. This feels unusual, feels more of a justification of Rey's yellow-orange lightsaber. And that's another thing. And when I first seen Marvel post that on Twitter, that was my first response, was that this is justification for Rey's yellow lightsaber, because there's no reason to even give Luke another saber between those 2 if you understand the hero's journey. And I should have put this in my video about the hero's journey, but it was already like 25 minutes long, and I tried to keep it as short as I could, but I broke all kinds of stuff down in that video pertaining to the lore, both with Disney, which they're screwing up their own lore, and with the original lore that are George's era of Star Wars. And so I wanted to point, do all that. And I did have someone say, well, Marvel's back in George's time, the Marvel comics during that time, Luke had a blue lightsaber. So I researched it, and that was just him thinking back of when he had the lightsaber and when he dueled with it with his father and all this other stuff. And so it wasn't that he physically in the present had a new lightsaber. It was that he was remembering and thinking back when he had his father's lightsaber. So let's see here. Hi, 19K Fox. How are you doing? Oh, you guys are coming in. Oh my God, 22 of you guys. Thank you for all coming in. And again, those who are joining, what is your choice of drink? This is when I'm like on the East, or I'm keep on saying East Coast. I'm not friggin' on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. And so it's morning here. So I'm having coffee. And again, it's Folgers. And then what I put in my coffee is just a little bit of French vanilla flavored coconut milk. And that's all I need. That's all that I need. And it's perfect for me. All right. I think, whoops, what did I do? All right, there we go. I think purple lightsabers signified a sword's master, maybe because we had Mace Windu, we had Mara J purple, and we had the Sword of the Jedi purple, and those are the top three I remember. And so I think it's a very unique one. And someone was telling me on Twitter that well, the sword color determines their strength, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. Because if that's the case, then Luke should have had one from the beginning, a certain color, and also Anakin. But they have their colors because of their abilities or their abilities in where they lie within the Jedi faction, I guess you can say, like the Guardian, the Consular, Sentinel, that thing. But I think Luke Skywalker, Grandmaster Luke Skywalker, is an overall Jedi, so he could fit in any one of those. Not necessarily the Sentinel, but because he is like the sage, I guess you could say, of the lore, and the one that recreated, the Jedi Order, or created the new Jedi Order. And basically, when you look at it and you go back, way back in Star Wars history, he brought back families. They used to have family structure. So he brought that back. So that was lost along the way, and he brought that back, maybe unknowingly, so. My lightsaber would be green, like the one Luke constructed himself. Yes. And I love the green one. I'm torn between the green and the purple, but I've always, from the remembering, is green was always my first favorite. Hello, how are you doing? And what's in your mug, or what are you drinking this morning? All right. If blue was the weakest colors, it makes no sense since Kenobi and Anakin, two of the most powerful ones, had blue. Exactly. And so that's why I was like, this person has no clue about the lore and what they're talking about. And maybe Disney's making it that way, which I wouldn't doubt it at all. All right. An orangey purple. And that's the thing. We also have a lot, like when you look into the lore, we do have some unusual colors as well. And that also depends on the type of jewel they use. Like Seagull, her jewel was basically like a pearl from her planet. So, and she was a healer. And so her focusing jewel was like a pearl type jewel. So it's very interesting to look back at the lore, the original lore, and see what kind of jewels were used with each of the Jedis that are in Luke's Grandmaster Luke's new Jedi Order. So that's something that maybe we will expand on next week. That would be fun, right? All right. I thought his green saber was because of what crystal might have been available. Brian, his green, you know, and it basically it's a synthetic crystal within the original lore. And I should bring that clip up of him with his crystal. But if you read or listen to Shadows of the Empire, there's a portion of it where he is preparing his synthetic crystal to prepare and make his new lightsaber, and he does build it inside and use it inside within that book. And so it's very interesting because he's also very cautious, because he's like, if I do this wrong, it can explode on me. That's why only Jedis can make and use lightsabers, is because of the fact that how delicate the system is when you put it together. If that's a easier term to think about it as such. Okay. Though, let me see here. Whoops, I skipped 4 or a Cornhorn. Okay, Cornhorn had a white one, I think. I think he did too. I think it was his grandfather's. I think it was his grandfather's Halcyons. I'm not too for sure. I'll have to look into that one. So I either think that was his or his grandfather's. I know that in the X-Wing series, he gets kidnapped, and then he finds another warehouse stash of Palpatines, and it's got all the statues from the temple and all the a lot of stuff from the temple, and even the coins that the Corellians Jedis gave. And so the one lightsaber which works, well, I think there was 2, but the one that worked that he was more attracted to was basically his ancestors or his grandfather's lightsaber, Halcyons. Yeah. So do you think Luke just finds an old temple guard's lightsaber? And that's the thing. And I said this a little bit in my video, and I stressed it a lot on Twitter, which pissed a lot of people off, because, you know, Twitter is like that. You can't, if you don't adhere to their opinion, then yours doesn't count and matter, and they get pissed off at you. What I know from the lore, and this can pertain to both of them, but mainly the Legends or original EU, is when Palpatine came into rule and they did Order 66 and all that, he basically hoarded all the information from the Jedi. And there was still stuff remaining in the temple, but that was basically under his guard. And we already knew that Palpatine, learned about the Jedi ways. And then now he has access to the temple because of Vader. Vader knows how to get in there and access everything as well. And so nothing was locked down to Palpatine. And then he also, anything that pertained to the Jedi, he tried to destroy or get rid of or store. And that includes places and resources where you can get crystals and all that. And then we see in Rogue One, they were hoarding the crystals for the Death Star as well, and also destroying any place that could possibly have Kyber crystals, I guess you can say. So having a Sentinel lightsaber just lying around somewhere, or him visiting the temple, doesn't make sense to me, because of the fact of how Palpatine would have cleaned that out and taken everything pertaining to the Jedi and either hoarding it or destroying it. So we will see what they make of this. And that's just my opinion, and that's just what I have seen in the lore. But you never know with Disney Lucasfilm. All right, Becky, wouldn't Mace Windu's purple lightsaber a balance between light and dark, like his vape head? I also debated this week on Grey Jedi, and Grey Jedi was never a true faction or even a part of the overall lore. If you get the novel, the Jedi versus Sith, and it's basically just breaks down the force between the factions and other factions or other societies or species that used it. Grey Jedi is not even in there. They do talk about Dark Jedi, because Dark Jedi is someone that turns to the dark side who may have been a Jedi. But it's been hinted on in the lore that someone can be in between. I still don't believe it. They also say Grandmaster Luke Skywalker was a Grey Jedi, but no, he wasn't. When you read the books, especially in Legacy of the Force, Lumaya says that Luke Skywalker could never really fully turn because he embodies the light. He is like the true embodiment of the light side. And so I think it turned into a fan fiction made, entity, I guess you can say. Real cyber elf. Revan has purple lightsaber. That's right. Okay, see? Revan did. And as a Jedi battle master and dual wielder, it is blue and purple for him. When he was the dark side, it was red and purple. Yeah. Maybe the writers' silly minds thought, blue and yellow mixed make blue. Thank you, Jedi Bunny. Oh my God. Oh, damn. That's how stupid they are. I'm sorry. Thank you for the laugh. And I lost. Okay, it jumped significantly. Oh my God, here we go. Pretty sure Story Group will come up with a rainbow lightsaber soon. I'm guessing maybe. Let's see. That was awesome. Thank you. You need to make a meme of that and share it with me if you can. Have like Luke with his father's blue, the yellow and the green, and put that down there and just mock the hell out of Disney Lucasfilm. That is golden. Thank you, Jedi Bunny. That is friggin' golden. I always thought that green was in reference to to his training with Yoda. No, when you look into the lore, and it's this is another good book to get right here, and it breaks it down a little bit more here. In fact, and it also has all the lightsaber techniques and stuff as well. So the Jedi Knight, it's in that portion of the book. And so we have the Jedi Guardian. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this image because it's just too ugly. Okay. That was Jake Skywalker. Really. So we're debating on Jake Skywalker stuff. And then Jedi Consular. And the Sentinels. And the thing is people are like, well, it's not canon. Okay, so what I'm going to say with that is that this also, the yellow lightsaber is in the Clone Wars and who carries it and stuff. So there it is canon. It is. All right. The crystals are rare at the time of the Empire, and the theory of it being Qui-Gon Jinn's, which is a nice idea. Maybe Disney will do that, but they didn't do it in the original lore, and I get why they didn't do it as well, because they wanted Luke to have his own and then not be a hand-me-down kind of thing, because he already had a hand-me-down from his father. And so making his own crystal, basically, or finding it, really helps set it in that it's truly his. We see too much hand-me-down to Rey. She's like a friggin' leech, and I bet that this yellow lightsaber he's gonna keep, and then she's gonna find it on Act 2 and claim it for herself because she thinks it's cool and build her own lightsaber. That's my presumption to that, because that's what's been going on with her. She's been leeching off of everything, and she hasn't earned anything or found anything significantly herself. All right. Coffee of the day is Coast Recon. Dark blend with almond milk. No soy for this boy. Good job. No soy. I do coconut milk. Sometimes I'll do almond milk, but I prefer. Hello, Abu Nas. I'm just barely getting through all these chats. Oh, it skipped again. All right, it jumped. Okay, Spartan. Laura, what color did the lightsaber end up being after getting augmented with the Lambent crystal during the Vong War? Drawing blank on this one. Me too. I have to go revisit it. I haven't read the series in a very, very, very long time, and I think after I'm done with Legacy of the Force, I might jump series that we're doing right now. In fact, we got to get into that because, like I said, today is going to be short and sweet. I'm thinking about jumping back into the PT era again, maybe, and then come back to the New Jedi Order. So we will discuss more of that when that comes up. All right, let's go scroll down here. You guys have a great conversation going on here. Don't get me started, Gray Jedi. I know. It is a fan fiction made thing, and it was put in, I think it was put in KOTOR or SATOR, I'm not sure, or it was hinted on, but it was never put in as a faction. That people just took that and run thinking, oh, well, if someone is on the light side, but they still use a little bit of dark power or dark, I wouldn't say power, dark force you use, then they must be gray. Light and dark is basically your morals on how you carry yourself and how you present yourself and your intentions. So if you have good intentions, you try to stay good and you serve people, basically, and you live in a good way, light side, basically. Dark side is basically having those bad intentions, selfishness, all that. George breaks it down in an interview, and I wish I would have pulled that up. Hello, Lord Understatement. Oh, and a notification. Okay. Hi, Drunk 3PO. How you doing? Raise a Leech. Love it. I am like going about here, skipping through here, because we're going to switch now from the lightsaber. And so again, that's why I say that Luke having a saber between his fathers, the one that he gets that begins his hero's journey, and then the one that he makes that begins his transformation as a Jedi, having one in the middle does not make sense, because when you look at it at a hero's journey sense, those two sabers significant his beginning and his transformation as a Jedi. And between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, he uses a blaster. He takes time to heal. He creates his own lightsaber, and they plan and they search for Han, and they plan, and there's other adventures going on in there. And he trains. And so that to me doesn't make sense, because it ruins the hero's journey for Luke. Thank you so much. Good morning from California. From the West Coast. West Coast. That's what my cousin used to say. West Coast. All right. And he's in Colorado. Let's see here. The crystals are formed from caves on a series of planets. Yeah, they're found. And like I said, Siegel, she is a Jedi healer from the New Jedi Order, Luke Skywalker's faction, and she uses a pearl from her world for her lightsaber. Rey is a mooch. I agree. Let's scroll down. Sorry if I'm going to miss some of your guys' stuff. We are just hopping in these chats today. I thought I just got a notification on my work laptop. Sorry, I thought I turned off all my notifications, but I do have Adobe Photoshop series for my art, my digital art and stuff, and it just told me that there's an update for one of my programs. So, of all times, it says update me now. All right. Rey made nothing. She's appropriated it, just like the SJWs, NPCs, and ilk. Yep. I'm getting the Jedi Path book, so you suggested. You know what? Get the Jedi one, and you can get it both together, and the Sith. And what's so great about this, and we're going to go into the book, the novel here pretty quick, is that they have certain Jedis writing in here little commentary and what they think about that. And they even have Sidious in here writing his little stuff in there. And it's funny because he friggin' has some snide remarks in there as well. And then this one here, it does have Luke and Sidious in them, writing or annotating as well in this here. But it breaks down a lot of the lore, the information pertaining to between the two factions. So I highly recommend that. It is Legends, even though the published date is like 2014 or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I suggest to get it. The Grey Jedi were just that didn't quite follow the Jedi Code. Not necessarily. There was no such thing as a Grey Jedi faction. Qui-Gon was still a light side user, and he was still on the light side and still followed the order. He just he also followed the Force. So there was no faction of gray. The Gray Jedi terms are just sprung out from people playing Jedi Academy and KOTOR when players went 50-50 dark. And that's the thing. The games, when you play them, yeah, they're based upon being canon in the lore. But when you play, you're also playing an alternate universe, basically. So what you play and how you play it means that it didn't really happen within the faction of Star Wars itself. Yes, it is. So I recommend you get it because there's a lot of great knowledge in there. And so I use this 19K Fox to break down my video regarding Luke's lightsaber. Again, I didn't put the hero's journey in there, and I should have. That's why we talked about it today, and it took up most of my time. But again, it's just something that we need, that we should think about when we think about these characters as well as what was the foundation they were created on, and is Disney honoring those foundations? And they aren't. If that's the case, Becky, I'm remembering wrong and stand corrected. I didn't see what happened there. Okay. Yeah, the Bounty Hunters book too as well. Yep, there's so much to get, like even the Reader's Companions and Jedi versus Sith, about the Force. I would, all of that, even the world books, companion books and stuff. Okay, why would a Sith follow the rule of two? Who is making them follow those rules? Whoever's in charge. But when we get into Palpatine, that's where we start seeing the rule of one. So even though we have Darth Krayt in Legacy doing the rule of one, Sidious has been slowly changing the rule of two, and we do see the rule of one come in later on. Well, before the rule of two, it was chaos, exactly. And so the rule of two was not a set in stone thing. The Sith went through different factions of ruling societies, I guess you could say. The gray path is an interesting idea, but the light-dark dichotomy has always been the thing. Yeah, and that's the good and bad, and that's what the hero's journey is about as well. So that's another thing to think about. The gray does not fit in that hero's journey as well that George based Star Wars on. The games were canon, but Lucas only made the ending that made sense in the universe overall. Canon, usually it was the good endings in the games. Yeah, so you could play alternate. All right, so basically, let's go ahead and skip forward now to Inferno. So I already created an Inferno review video a month ago, maybe. And I did that because I wanted to share the real side of Luke that we see develop in the lore, especially with all this, I wouldn't say depression, but it's just friggin' sucks seeing our main characters that we grew up and loved being destroyed. So the Inferno shares his conflict between him and Darth Caedus, or Jacen Solo. And so that mirrors what's going on with Disney right now between Luke, or Jake Skywalker, and Kylo Ren. So it kind of mirrors each other. And that's why I did that kind of early and out of place within the series that I'm reviewing right now. And so in Inferno, we have, we have Mara Jade's funeral, and Luke is still going within himself. He is feeling, he's mourning. He's basically cutting himself off from a lot of people. And that's where Jacen Solo takes advantage and gets inside the temple or penetrates the temple, tries to arrest his mom and his dad, Han and Leia. And he also promised Tenno Call that he would try to make amends with Luke just to get her fleet from the Hapes Consortium. Can't even talk. And so he goes over to the temple and pretends like he is making amends in front of Tenno Call so he can have her fleet. And but in the meantime, he tries to arrest Han and Leia. And from there, the Jedis confront Luke after that, and he snaps to his senses. And what keeps him busy from mourning is the fact that they need to get Jason out of control of the Galactic Alliance. And one badass scenario is when he fakes his death, and it's very traumatic with Leia, because there's a scene there where she just like totally loses it. And even Han says, "What, Luke? We would think the galaxy would end before Luke, or whatever." And so we see that in the book, which we don't see in the movies. In fact, there's no mourning whatsoever between any of them when they lose each other. And I mean, Leia just breaks down. It is very, very heartbreaking. Excuse me. And so we get that. And then so Luke fakes his death. His in friendly fire. So Jaina Solo thinks that she shoots down her uncle. He sneaks onto Anakin Solo, Jason Solo's ship. He names it after his brother Anakin. If you don't know that, know that. And while he decides to disarm some of the disarm the ship, excuse me, I'm clearing up from that cold head sinus infection I had. Since Ben is being held captive there and is being tortured on the what's it called, the embrace of pain that the Yuuzhan Vong tortured Jason on. And so he's being tortured. Jason cuts Ben off from the Force and finally allows him to have the Force back. And that's when Luke realizes that his son is there. And so Luke, being the Grand Master and as powerful as he is in the Force, I would say powerful or talented or whatever you want to call it, basically he had shut himself off from everybody but his own son. So not even Jason Solo, who has explored other Force societies, Force abilities, and trained under them a little bit, cannot feel Luke Skywalker in the Force. And so Ben realizes his dad's on the ship and realizes that he's only one that can feel him in the Force. And so he's like egging Jason on, like, "Oh, well, you're going to be in trouble, blah, 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 blah." And that's when, and by then, Luke is so pissed because he realizes that, his son is captured and he goes to rescue him. And so him and Jason have a duel, basically. And when we read the book, Luke wants to help Jason return to the light. So he doesn't try to kill him, I guess you can say, because he knows he would turn dark if he tries to pursue Jason Solo. But Ben, on the other hand, wants to kill Jason because he knows that Jason killed his mom. And so this is why I recommend this book, is because we see Luke, he embodies the light side, like really embodies it. He does still make mistakes as Grandmaster. And this duel between him and Jason and how they escape and all this other stuff, it makes for an awesome read. And in the meantime, during that time frame, Jason's also attacking Kashyyyk. So he's attacking the Wookiee planet. And Han Solo is like embarrassed, pissed, disowning him because of the fact of that. It's like, that's no longer Jason Solo, he died in the Yuuzhan Vong War, so we're seeing a lot of emotions going on in this book. And beforehand, when before all of this happens, or earlier in the book, in the novel, Luke Skywalker goes and talks with Jason, and they have a verbal confrontation, and Luke doesn't even flinch or even use any physical abilities to show that he's going to use the Force on Jason, and basically grabs Jason in the Force, pins him down into his chair, and they talk. And Jason can't even move. He can't even use his own Force abilities to get out of that. So we see a very, strong Jedi or Grandmaster that we should have seen inside the movies. Even after Master Luke Skywalker loses his wife, he doesn't run in exile. He doesn't take off. Yeah, he does close up for some time, and we see that from this novel on forward, basically, of times of him closing up. but he doesn't leave his family. He doesn't leave the galaxy. He doesn't say that he wants the Jedi to end. So that's a very compelling story there. So I'm going to bring up one of the clips. I did this time make sure that they were on my laptop here that I'm using for live chat instead of my phone. So I'm going to look at your guys' comments here, and then we will get to that clip and start closing down this chat. Okay, I have to put this here. It's time for the term Grey Jedi to end. All right. Spartan, lacking a suitable Kyber crystal, Rey opted to use Luden's honey menthol cough drop instead. Thank you for the laugh. What about the attack of the Wookiee on the Wookiees? Yes, Jason did that. And even Lobaka, who he grew up with inside the academy, you know, everybody was heartbroken. They were pissed. I mean, read the book if you haven't. Read it. I highly recommend this book. Stieg, Rey is so powerful, she can stuff Banthas shit into a lightsaber and create a brown, all-powerful lightsaber. Oh God, this is so hilarious. You guys are awesome today. You guys are awesome. All right. Soul Assassin, hello. Luke's no quitter like Jake. Exactly. All right. So let's see what he has to say, because you really don't want to see me angry. And I think you are smart enough to know that. But if you want to try me, go ahead and make that threat. That's what he says inside the books, and it's awesome to listen to on the Audible. Oh my God, you guys, if you can get the Audible, read the book first, listen to the Audible. It's amazing. It's amazing. And that's his quote to his nephew, because Jason threatens the younglings. So he threatens the younglings, and that kind of references back to his grandfather. You know, so we have that little tad bit of like going to the dark side and wanting to kill the younglings. He has his GAs keeping the academy, the Praxium on Ossus hostage during the time as well. And so I didn't really go into that much, but yes. So Jason, even though he's like, I don't want to be like my grandfather and slaughter younglings, he's going to let his galactic guard do it. And so so in that book, Jaina, Zuck, and Jag go over there to help take care of and get, and rescue the younglings from Jason's gag troops over there. And they injure Tyone and her husband. And I think they shoot a couple of the younglings. I'm not too for sure now, but I think they do. Yeah, so it's very crazy. And we have a lot of nods going back to the Skywalker heritage from Anakin in this story as well. For the Disney saga to end, yes. Love you, Abu. Yes, he's a great man. Okay. Luke developed from rushing to help to thinking things through and taking the wiser approach in his later years. Exactly. And that's why he was saying, I need to redeem Jason, if not for Han, Leia, and the galaxy, for me and for him. So that was, and I shared that on Twitter, and that friggin' got like close to 400 likes and retweets and all that other stuff, proving that Luke Skywalker would not consider killing his nephew. Definitely do the printed book and the audio book. Did that with Sacrifice and Loved. Yes, and I wanted to still do a girl night talking about Sacrifice and talking about the whole event and stuff, because yes, Lorena, and you need to tell me what you liked about that. Be sure. Okay. Yeah. So let me go ahead and get that clip, and then we're going to wind down here. Let's see here. Which one was it? I did bookmark it. I also have Leia and Tahiri's Saber duel, if you guys want to hear that. And I also have Luke hiding in the Force. Okay. And I also have No Luke in Galaxy, that one I talked about when Leia breaks down because she thinks Luke is dead. All right, so let me go ahead and put that up there. I didn't click that right. There we go. All right. Let's go to it. Okay. Where is it? Okay. Luke versus Cadus, and the clip is so long I only can do a few of them.
But he did know how to prevent it. Have you forgotten the academy? The door opened. Instead of stepping through, Luke faced Cadus and spoke in a very calm voice. I'm sure you're not threatening the younglings. He pointed at the base of Jason's meditation chair and made a tapping motion with his finger. The pedestal gave a loud whoomph, and the seat dropped a quarter meter. Because you really don't want to see me angry. Luke made the tapping motion again. The pedestal emitted a metallic shriek, and the seat dropped another quarter meter. And I think you're smart enough to know that. Luke tapped the last time, and the pedestal collapsed with a low, loud crump.
All right, so that's that quote right there. And that's friggin' badass amazing. Listening to it and also reading it as well. And we do see hints of like Anakin, his father, and him with that attitude, because we know that Anakin had that no nonsense thing. And we also know that Luke finds out that, you know, Anakin slaughters the younglings. And so, you know, so that's part of the anger as well. And I'm referring all the way back to Swarm Wars, or the Dark Nest trilogy. All right, so I'm going to share a couple more and then we're going to close this down. And again, get the books, get the series. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Oops, I'm like losing my screen here. Here we go. Get back up here. I should have just left it up. Share. Hide. All right, let me bring one. Oh, wrong one. Wrong one. All right. Okay. Luke versus Cadus. No Luke, no Galaxy. So I'm going to play this. This one's a very dramatic one, and then I'll play one more.
Leia squeezed his hand. Luke. That was as far as she made it before she broke down croaking and sobbing. And that was all Han needed her to say. Luke was dead. It did not seem fundamentally possible, as though by some natural law the galaxy had to end before Luke did. But he knew that was what Leia meant. You're kidding. Han couldn't think of anything else to say. You've got to be kidding. Leia shook her head. I felt this surprise then, this anguish, and Luke was just gone. They sat in their seats, Leia letting her tears flow free, and Han too stunned to do more than hold her hand for who knew how long.
All right, so that was that on there regarding like how, you know, if you think about how they would respond with losing each other, especially Luke Skywalker, who basically became the Jedi that his father was supposed to be, and how he basically embodies the Force, I guess, and, you know, and has the galaxy in the best interest and stuff. We should have got a reaction similar to that. We should have got a reaction like that with Disney Star Wars when it came to Luke dying, or even Han dying. Doesn't make any sense. And this is where the gold is at, is in Legends. It's compelling. It's very emotional. It keeps you reading. It keeps you involved with the characters. It makes you love the characters even more. There's nothing to love about Disney Star Wars, and that's all I have to say about that. I mean, that's my opinion. Some of you guys may agree with me. Most of you guys may. I don't know. So one more, and then we're going to close out here. Let's see here. I think I have Trace XL here. Hello. I don't think I said hi to Mr. Dystopian. Hello. You guys, thank you for coming in. We're going to listen to one more clip here and close out. I have to be up in the big city for some stuff this morning as well. Yes, you're right. That emotion compared to the ST, that is the difference. This has heart. Disney doesn't. Exactly. There's a lot of heart in this. All right. So let's go ahead and, whoops, I am like not getting this down. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Luke hiding in the forest. Okay, Leia and Tahiri's. All right, you guys. Would you want to hear Leia battling Tahiri? Because we don't get Leia as a Jedi Knight in Disney Star Wars, and I'm sorry, them fashioning her one as one quickly like they did, I don't think counts. So you want to get Leia dueling Tahiri, or do you want Luke sneaking onto the Anakin solo? So go ahead and 1 for Tahiri and Leia's battle, or 2 for Luke sneaking onto Anakin solo. So do that real quick. Let's get it. Whoopsie. Are you guys here? Hello? Hail Trace Exile. Thank you for coming in. 1. All right. So, okay. So far, all 1s and then 2. I think we're all curious to see 1 and 2. 1, 2, 1 and 2. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll do 2. Let's go ahead and listen to Leia and Tahiri. That's the most popular vote right now. Okay, so let me see. Leia and Tahiri. Here we go.
The blade level with Tahiri's neck. Wait, Han cried. Not my strut. Leia accelerated her pirouette, trying to land the attack before Tahiri had time to block. And that was when Han began to realize his wife was really serious about this. She wasn't in it to just teach the younger woman a lesson. Leia, no! The plea made Leia hesitate just long enough for Tahiri to block. Then Leia was on her feet again, keeping Tahiri pinned against the strut, beating down her guard, slipping in knee and elbow strikes with a speed and ferocity that only a Barabel-trained fighter could achieve. Leia, stop! Han yelled. You want to kill her? Leia continued to press the attack, and Han realized that was
All right, so that's a short clip of that. And the reason why Leia's dueling Tahiri is because Tahiri's taking Jason's side and he's manipulating her because Jason is realizing that Ben Skywalker is too much embodied in the light as well, like his father, to go to the dark. And so he is now manipulating Tahiri. Tahiri, if you don't know the lore, she was the love interest of Anakin Solo. And so he's using her, and he also flowed walk her back to back to the time of the New Jedi Order, right when Anakin was killed and stuff. And so he's really playing with her emotions, and she basically followed them to Hapes and pursued him. And Leia just lost her brother, or thought she lost Luke, so she's pissed already. She's got all kinds of emotions, and then Tahiri's pursuing them, and Leia had enough, and so she just wanted to take all her aggression out on Tahiri. Still avoiding getting dragged into the EU. 0. You're too late for that, Keck. You're too late. You're here. You're here. I am going to convert you. You are here. All right. So let's listen to the last one and then call it a day. All right. So I forget how much of the clip because I only can, excuse me, I only can do a couple, like so many seconds of these clips, these bookmarks. So I'm not exactly sure exactly what part of the hiding in the forest that Luke is in this clip, but we're going to play it.
And they were all reeling, bewildered, and concerned because he was aboard Jason's ship. But mostly, Ben sensed his father, a small, tight presence a deck or two above. He was skulking through the substructures below one of the long-range turbo laser turrets, and he seemed as surprised as everyone else by where Ben had turned up. But there was also a note of reassurance, a promise that he would soon be there to help. At first, Ben couldn't understand why Leia and Jaina and everyone else still seemed so sad. Then it hit him. They couldn't feel his father's presence. Ben was the only one whom his dad was allowing to see him through the Force. Not even Jason had that kind of control.
I think, did you guys hear that? Because I forgot to put it on screen, I think. Did you guys hear it? So if you guys heard it, let me know. I'll play it again one more time. Hi, Brucey T. Dang, 5 a.m. Okay, good. You guys heard it. All right. So basically, that shares how strong Luke is in the Force. And people will debate that Jason Solo is stronger than Luke, but it's not the case. And this is evidence. And loud and clear. Thank you so much. And so this book, if you are tired of the old Jake Skywalker that we've been hearing and getting and seeing now because of the movies, this book is a great read just to get yourself back into familiarity with Luke Skywalker and how much he has progressed in the Force with his family. He still has trials and tribulations. It has all of this in the book. This book is my favorite one in the series. But this shares how much Luke has grown in the Force and how well, and, earned the Grandmaster title and, basically the sage of the whole order. And, so I'm glad you guys were here with me today. And thank you for coming in. I must go now. So pick up the books. The next book is Fury. And there we have Luke beginning to mourn again, picking up on the mourning because everything's slowing down for him a little tiny bit. And he's contemplating his himself within the galaxy and his choices and stuff. And Ben is trying to gather proof to show that Jason killed his mom. And so it's another compelling book. So Fury, pick it up. I'll be posting the lore, Tuesday lore book review on my channel here. So you guys like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you, Michael Thomas, for coming in. Soul Assassin, Brucey T, Lord Understatement, Soul Stieg, Abu Nas, Drunk 3PO, everybody, Becky Brown, Browand. Thank you guys for coming in and spending this time with me, exploring the EU. Get these books, 19K Fox, everybody else, get these books, get the Star Wars Magic of Myths. Again, thinking about the Skywalker sabers, that yellow one, it's an imposter, just like Jake is an imposter. Just know that that yellow one breaks the mythology of Luke Skywalker because of his transformation with the sabers. So thank you again. Have a great day. May the Force be with you.